2022 was a record year for the couples tying the knot, with close to 30,000 marriages registered. And this is the highest since data on total marriages registered in Singapore was first compiled and published in 1961. Now, the previous high was nearly 10 years ago in 2014. Let's zoom in on some of these numbers. We're talking about, first off, the general marriage rates for both genders aged between 15 and 49 were among the highest in 20 years. There were 47 marriages per 1,000 unmarried men in the age group and 45.5 marriages for women. However, wedding bells rang later for these couples. The grooms married when they were 30.7 years of age, up from 30.1 10 years ago. Women also married later at 29.3 years, more than a year later compared to 2012. Now, those tying the knot are choosing partners of about the same age. 44.2% of them had an age gap of less than a year. The rest of the marriages were between couples who have an age difference of at least 2 years. Those who have a university degree got married later. The median age for first marriages among them is 31.2 for grooms and 29.7 for brides. For those with secondary education and below, it's 30.8 years for the men and 28.7 for the women. Inter-ethnic marriages remained stable at 16.6%. Almost half of the civil marriages were between a Chinese groom and a bride from the others ethnic group. Marriages between Indians and Malays were most common among those who tied the knot under the Administration of Muslim Law Act.
Marriages that ended in divorce declined last year. Newly released data showed that their number fell by nearly 10%. Analysts say couples have become more open in working through their issues. Even so, the largest share of divorces happened between couples who had tied the knot for 5 to 9 years. Sherlyn Sia finds out. Now, that's a fragile period where big life transitions could challenge a marriage.
Singapore saw 7,100 marriages ending in divorce or annulment in 2022. With that, the average annual number of marital dissolution in the past 5 years was some 120 cases lower than the preceding 5 years. A family service centre that counsels on average 800 married couples each year says it's seen a rise in people coming forward to work out marital issues and strengthen communication.
More people are more willing to seek help. And also, I think in what we're also seeing in our marriage classes, whether be it marriage prep class or marriage enrichment classes, we see more couples are willing to take up the mentoring service. These couples who may have some issues in their marriage, but with this support, they're able to tie through the challenges and in fact learn skills that can help them to move forward together.
Statistics also show that nearly 10% of couples ended their marriage between their 5th and 10th anniversaries. One counsellor says it's because many life transitions happen during that period. That includes having children, caregiving for elderly parents, and career changes.
Those who have the tenacity, the skills, they are able to actually navigate through each so-called transition. And every transition that they can go through, it also strengthens their marriage. But unfortunately, there are couples who, with every unresolved transition, it creates more disappointment. And this is also at the weakest point that they may not be able to see hope and a future in the relationship.
Property issues are also a contributor. One law firm that handles up to 300 divorce cases a year says couples often wait to fulfill their flat's minimum occupancy period of 5 years. It also suspects divorce figures could rise in the near term. An estimated 15% of its clients are waiting for a divorce by mutual agreement option to kick in at year-end, where one party does not need to pin blame or fault the other for the marriage breakdown. This could make finalizing a divorce faster.
It has put the brakes on couples filing for divorce. So what I've seen right now is parties are keen to resolve the differences. So that means basically have pre-divorce negotiations, entering into a marital agreement, setting out what they have agreed, waiting for the time is right then to file this divorce by mutual agreement. A high number that I've seen in my practice where clients are waiting for this to be launched before they could, come and see me again for me to proceed with their matter.
Ultimately, the counsellors encourage couples to work things out and seek help before ending their marriage for good.
One married couple says counseling and relationship courses have helped them to bridge their differences. But that doesn't mean all the arguments stop. They just learn to better communicate their needs and find ways to strengthen the relationship. Rebecca Mateo with their story.
Bound by their interest in rock climbing, Magdalene Cheng and her husband found true love about 5 years ago. They tied the knot after 2 years of dating. And then 2 became 3 as they welcomed a baby girl early last year. Emma is now 15 months old. She has been a bundle of joy for the couple. But Emma also posed challenges to her parents.
There are times where there are tensions with our own parenting styles. Right. Like for me, what comes up could be my own triggers, because watching my daughter grow up now, is triggering maybe memories of myself, how I was being parented, maybe for him as well. But we are working through it. And I think what's great about our relationship is we are willing to talk about these things. Right. But the difficulty is with a toddler, it's difficult to find time with each other.
And so the couple went for a 10-week church-run course that helped them deal with issues like the lack of couple time and how they can communicate more effectively.
I mean, sometimes we still forget and we still bicker over, you're not listening to me. I don't feel heard. But at least it doesn't explode into a full, argument, which happened in the past, right? I mean, we will be more accepting and forgiving and say, okay, maybe this person had a really tough day today.
Being a psychotherapist herself, Magdalene says couples should not only go for counseling when they bump into issues. They should actively seek ways to strengthen the relationship at every phase they go through.